Well, hello, IDS 105 students, and welcome to your Week 7 IDS 105 Learning Community webinar, all about finishing strong. First and foremost, your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, the OAC, as soon as possible at 866-305-9430. You can also email the Online Accessibility Center at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. Couple of webinar reminders. This is an academic space, so always be mindful of your conduct, I should say, in the webinars that you attend or you listen to, the First Year Experience YouTube pages, your classroom, SNHU Connect, all of those places are academic spaces, so always be mindful of your conduct. These webinars for the IDS 105 learning community are not mandatory, they're not graded, and there are not any extra credit points awarded. However, I hope they have helped you complete your assignments from week to week and you've had a little bit of fun. So, y'all, we are in the final 2 weeks of your term. I mean, high fives all the way around. These next 2 weeks are going to go really fast. So, a couple of things about Module 7, Week 7 is first and foremost, you will see, I should say, a discussion in your Week 7 module. However, that's just a non-graded discussion opportunity. That is there as a placeholder if you want to share what you've learned in the class, if you want to share some tips for your success in revising or editing your project drafts to put together your guidebook, or kind of what your process was or what you learned from it. That is what that space is there for the Week 7 discussion. So it's not graded. You don't have to do anything with it, but it is there. And I wanted to make sure that that was clear. Your big assignment for this week is turning in that guidebook or that final project that you guys have been working on all term long. Okay. Couple of reminders is you're not creating anything new. All right. You are literally cleaning up. So revising, editing, if you were missing things or needed to add things or needed to do some edit work on those project drafts that you turned in throughout the term, your job now is cleaning those project drafts up, adding things that needed to be added, editing where it was needed, and you submit your final product, that guidebook, on that template you worked on all term. So if you did really well on all your project drafts and don't have any changes, you don't have much to do on your guidebook, right? You'll just be able to submit it. However, if you did have some edits, like maybe some of the project draft weeks you needed to turn, or you needed to give some extra details or share some extra thoughts, or maybe you were off base and needed to kind of like rephrase how you answered the question, you want to make sure those changes are made for your final guidebook that you turn in. Now, some of you may not have used the template. That's okay. The template is highly encouraged, but some of you may have gotten creative and not used the template. You want to make sure that you are taking whatever project drafts you turned in and you're putting them all together into one document so it flows just like the template would, with all the questions in order for the project drafts, okay? If you have questions, if you are stuck, this is the time to reach out to your instructor, because they are the ones who are grading you, have seen what you have previously turned in, and they can help you be your most successful on this project, okay? As a reminder, use your resources. If you, for some reason, do not have Office 365 that has Microsoft Word, you get it for free as an SNHU student. You can find that very top of your classroom underneath the help button. Just put that little arrow and scroll down through the resources to Office 365 and other software. Follow the prompts or give it the help desk if you get stuck. Remember, you also have the academic support team that you can utilize that written feedback service for your success. Have another set of eyes look over your guidebook before you submit it to your instructor. Just as a reminder, the discussion this week is not graded. It's just an opportunity for you to share your thoughts or kind of how you put the guidebook together, but do not put anything about your actual project in that space. Your final project will need to be uploaded by Sunday, just like how you have put those project drafts together. It's just underneath Module 7, okay? So that is kind of your big assignments for this week, but I wanted to take a minute too and kind of check in with y'all about making sure that you know how to finish this term strong. So I always like to ask students this time of the term, like, do you know how to assess yourself? Like, do you know how to kind of figure out like what you've done well this term, what needs some work, and like what to do about it. I think this is always a great time of the term for us to kind of check in with ourselves and kind of do a little bit of a self-assessment, like ask ourselves those hard questions. You know, some of the things we might have done this term, maybe we could use some improvement. We might have rocked some other areas. We need to stay positive with ourselves. We also want to make sure we open up those lines of communication and take action for our success. So asking those hard questions, those hard truths. What I encourage you to do, and you can actually do this both inside and outside the classroom, like academically, professionally, personally. But what I encourage you to do is kind of just take a moment or a few moments and think about like, what are you doing really well so far this term? Like, what are you really proud of? That you're like, maybe it's you got your assignment submitted on time. Maybe it's that you were kind of pushed outside your comfort zone but you still like got your assignment submitted. Maybe you used a resource this term that you didn't think you would ever use, So what is something you're proud of or something you did well? What is something you could do a little bit better? Maybe you struggled with your writing mechanics, so maybe you need to use the academic support written feedback tools. Maybe you struggled with getting your assignment submitted on time. So how can you fix that for future terms so that you don't miss points or fall behind? So I always like to tell everybody, it's easy to point out sometimes what we did wrong. So make sure that you find those things that you did really well too. Maybe it was just that, everything at home outside of school stayed afloat while you added school to your schedule. Like that's a good thing. That's a win. Put that in the win column. But maybe you realize that some of the help maybe you're supposed to have with some of those loved ones didn't happen as consistently as it needed to. So maybe you have to have a little discussion to kind of get that back on track for future terms or to end this term strong. So just kind of think about like, what did you do good? What went well inside, outside the classroom? What is something you need to improve either inside and outside the classroom or both? And then like, what can you do about it and who can help me? Because it's so important for you to remember the power of positivity too. Like believe in yourself. You may have had a great term. So high five and kudos to you. You may have struggled this term. That's okay. It happens. There are going to be some terms where you struggle. So remember that you are, no matter where you're at, or maybe you're somewhere in the middle, like you didn't do awful, but you didn't do as great as you wanted to. So take a minute and just remember like, okay, I can get this together. Like I can do this. I am worth this, right? I am worth this degree in this journey. Put the time in, take the action to do it, and just remember to believe in you. Your faculty, your advisor, the support teams here at the university, we believe in you and your success. So this is the time to reach out and communicate if there's something that you need. Like if you have questions on something, maybe you fell off track a little bit, you're missing some assignments or didn't do so hot on some assignments. This is the time to reach out to your instructors, especially if it's assignment related, and ask them like, can I resubmit that for more points? Or can I turn that in that assignment that I didn't get submitted? They can always say no, y'all, but the answer is always no until we ask. So advocate for yourself. If you struggled with your writing, your final project, this guidebook's worth a lot of points, right? A significant chunk of your grade. So maybe this is a great time to schedule that appointment or submit your work to the academic support written feedback team. Remember, there's so many different ways to reach out to the SNHU resources here at SNHU. You have appointments you can set up. There's emails that can be sent. You can pick up the good old fashioned phone. A lot of faculty might even text message. This goes for outside the classroom too. If things went great academically, but things felt a little bit tense or kind of overwhelming personally and professionally, like tag in those people, talk to those people, and figure out what you need to do for your success. Connect with your resources and those social supports. Remember, your resources are like the people here at SNHU. So the departments and the people, like your instructors, your advisors, the career team, the academic support team has so much. They have the written feedback service, they have tutoring. Don't forget about the learning communities, y'all. You have the library that helps you with those citation things, help desk for technology. And then outside the classroom, you have those loved ones, whether it's significant others, parents, kids, friends, coworkers, extended family, maybe it's the pets, sometimes it's just us that are pushing ourselves from day to day to achieve our goals. And that is what matters. You have to put in the time, the energy. So take a moment and think about like what went well, what you might need to change for your success. And just remember to take action. Go after your degree with that passion and that just amazingness that like you have to get this done. And I love to say like today's the day. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you struggled all term with your writing and you don't do anything to change it, it's never going to get better. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? Whether it's inside the classroom or outside the classroom, just remember to finish your term strong here for IDS 105. If anything, remember, you got this. We are so proud of you. Just a reminder for this week for Module 7, I am going to share my screen here just real quick. When you go into your course menu, learning modules, and you go to Module 7 for IDS 105, as a reminder, you are going to have that discussion. You'll see it's non-graded. Don't post your final project there, right? This is just an opportunity for you to kind of like ask questions if you have specific questions about what you're doing. You can share how you've kind of done things, what you've learned. But this right here underneath the 7-2 project, that is where you want to make sure that you get your final project, that guidebook, submitted. Remember, you're not creating anything new. You're not starting from scratch. You are using those project drafts that you have turned in all term long, whether you followed the template or created your own document. Everything, the pieces, all parts need to be submitted when you turn it in underneath your 7-2 project, okay? So remember, you got this. Have a wonderful week 7, y'all. If you get stuck, reach out to your instructor ASAP. We can't wait to read these final guidebooks from you. We know you've put a lot of work and energy into them through the term. Next week is going to be your last week. So you got this. Have a great week 7.